Welcome, everyone, to Weird Science. I always feel like I was working in the lab late one night. Absolutely. No. Anyway, Steve, what do you got for us?
All right. Have you ever been out camping and you've
I try not to.
No. Why don't you camp? What are one of the bugbears?
Well, I don't like digging a hole and going to the toilet. Yeah, that's not. I'm not a huge fan of that, Steve.
I didn't think of that.
What else? Bears. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have bears in Australia.
No.
What else don't I like? Well, if it's in the summer, it's hot.
Yes.
So I like my air conditioning.
Yeah, what else happens
just
in
joking.
summer?
Let's see. Actually, I don't mind the idea. I don't like setting up the camp, Steve.
Yeah,
to be honest, I like all of it. Well, nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Attacked by cassowaries. For people in America that don't know what a cassowary is, they're these huge birds that kind of look a little bit like emus with these massive talons, and they can disembowel you.
Yeah.
No, it's not that, Steve. It's probably biting bugs.
Correct. And they're
mosquitoes, midges.
Yep. They're one of the most deadly animals in the world, mosquitoes.
I know that. Is that because of malaria?
Yellow fever and all that. But typically malaria. But have you ever been camping and there's people that are getting bitten by mosquitoes and you're not?
Yep.
Or vice versa?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Has it got to do with your blood, what you eat?
It's got to do with lots of things.
Yeah. Because I'd imagine because my understanding is that mosquitoes lock onto you through the emission of carbon dioxide.
Correct.
Because I always used to think that they're heat-seeking, but they're not.
No.
So it's carbon dioxide. So they're actually sent to kill carbon dioxide breathing creatures because they care about the environment, Steve.
They do. They care about the environment a lot.
No, tell me the truth.
Well, they are. They're attracted to carbon dioxide and lactic acid.
Right.
Which are given off by mammals.
Right.
Okay, so mammals means warm blood.
Yep.
Blood means food for mosquitoes.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Okay, but everyone gives off lactic acid and carbon dioxide. So why do some people get bitten and some don't? The first thing is the diversity of the bacteria on your skin.
Okay.
The more diverse it is, the more, different bugs you've got on your skin naturally occurring, like Propionibacterium acne and all these other ones, the less likely your chances are of getting bitten. Yeah.
When I was younger, mosquitoes never bothered me.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever. And I get bitten a little bit from now. But whereas, my mum always used to say, my mum always used to go, why do they always go after me? And she'd be bitten 10 times to 1.
Yep.
So that's because she had less strains of bacteria on her skin.
Correct. Now, the more strains you got, the more diverse, the higher the Shannon index, the better you're off. Also, blood groups. Shannon index, yeah. It's an index of how it's also used for your gut bugs. So it's next week's pod. We talk a lot about gut bugs next weekend.
Yep.
All right. So what if you're an A or a blood O type? Now, I'm an A blood type.
I'm O.
All right. Well, you're more likely to be bitten by mosquitoes.
Is that right? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's A. What about AB?
They didn't mention it in the studies here. And I think because O's have been around the longest and A's are a mutation of that and B's, they're all, weird mutations of O's. Mm-hmm. So what's happened is the mosquitoes have typically eaten O's because that's all there was.
Right.
Now there's A's and B's, and so they're not so sure on the A's and B's.
Yeah, right. There you go.
But there's more to it.
I mean, how do they do that? Just put a bunch of people into a room and see which ones the mosquitoes flew to?
Yep. There's another one too. It's also down to your immune system. Okay. So let's say you've got a very low T helper 2, which is a type of allergy histamine side of your immune system.
Yep.
If that's low, like you've got a lot of T help 1, like you've riddled with rheumatoid arthritis.
You're more likely or less likely to coagulate.
No, you'll still get bitten, but you won't get the histamine reaction. So you don't know you've been bitten.
Ah, okay.
So you don't get the itch.
Right.
So people go, I wasn't bitten last night.
But you were.
They just had a different reaction.
Right.
And the last one is depending on what colour clothes you wear.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd say that white is probably more attractive.
Actually, dark colours.
Really?
Attract to dark.
Why?
And this
is
study,
it because of night?
Yeah. Yeah, they just seem to be more comfortable with that. In 1902, and you're going to love this study, a study suggested that orange and yellow seem to repel the insects.
Really?
So, yeah, very interesting.
Well, I guess orange and yellow are considered to be danger colours in nature, right? So maybe that's what it was.
Something like that.
So what you're saying is I should just dress up as a giant wasp and walk around, Steve.
Yes, that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's an upside to everything, really.
Upside to everything. Now, there is one other factor that attracts them.
Yeah.
It's drinking beer.
Really?
Yep, drinking beer.
What, hops?
Yeah, well, maybe it's the ethanol that's given off of your skin. They like it. they're attracted to it. So, yeah, drinking beer makes you more attractive to mosquitoes and the opposite sex. No, it doesn't say that in the study.
No, it makes the opposite sex more attractive, Steve.
That's right.
Yeah, I think they call those bear goggles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it also makes you better at riding bikes and doing backflips off walls and all sorts of things.
Yeah, driving cars, everything.
No,
we're in trouble.
No, we're
Edit that
joking,
out. Oh, well, the next one is earth-shattering. This one is the study of all studies. It's a medical study.
Yep.
Well, I'll say it's a study anyway.
Yeah.
But they've found out what causes kids these days to get fat. I'm going to give you a multiple choice, and I'll let Matt include on this
Climate change.
All right. Climate change is A.
Everything is climate change.
All right. Climate change A.
Yep.
B, is it the higher incidence of computer games?
Yep.
C, is it the higher refined diet? Or B, is it less activity?
Or is it D, all of the above?
D. No, D is the less activity.
Oh, less activity.
Which one of those four contributes?
So say them again. So climate change?
Climate change, yeah.
Yep.
There's more screen time, we'll just call it.
Yep.
Crappier diet, C.
Yep.
And less activity, D.
Well, sort of B and D kind of go together, right?
Yes, they do.
You know, but well, I mean, the one that you'd be drawn to would be food, which I would probably. Well, I can't get away from that, but I'm going to say C.
C.
What is it?
It's A. Climate change.
It is. I knew it. I knew it.
This is published in
and Carl who is it a German with an accent?
No, he's like her last name's Morrison. There you go. Anyway, so this was published. It's called "Moving in a Hotter World: Maintaining Adequate Childhood Fitness." So I can't even say this a straight face as a climate change countermeasure. It's published in the paper called Temperature, which is all about climate change. But they concluded that climate change is the cause of childhood obesity. Can you believe that?
How do they justify that?
Oh, I can go into it, but basically what they're saying is that it's getting so hot outside. This morning I froze my bees off running to the gym because it was so cold due to climate change, and it was so cold, but they're saying it's because it's so hot, kids are less likely to go out and play.
Wow.
I've got a great one here. Yep. How's your cholesterol? Is it good?
I don't know, Steve. I've never checked it, to be honest.
Okay. If it was high, you got three options, okay?
Right.
First one is to go for a walk, exercise. Second one is to change your diet.
Yep.
Well, the third one is to use CRISPR to change your genes in your body.
That sounds like the obvious and the more the less invasive and probably the intelligent thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I love gene editing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, you know, boop, just cut that little piece out there and what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Well, let me tell you this. This is the title of this article.
Yep.
High cholesterol, new CRISPR treatment trial could offer permanent cure for high cholesterol. So they just removed the genes that encode for making LDL cholesterol.
Yeah.
You can't see a problem with
that? None whatsoever. I love gene editing. It's great. I mean, I think we should do more of it. I think we should have untested things and just give it a crack and see what happens.
Well, they are giving it a crack.
Yeah.
It's in a study. Here's the funny thing about this. Do people know cholesterol's needed to make hormones and all this other stuff?
No, Steve.
Unnecessary.
No,
Don't worry about
no. Next.
Next. All right. Another question for you.
Yep.
Have you ever been bitten by a Russell's viper?
No.
This was published in PLS, so this is PLOS, which is quite a famous medical journal, and it's a case report of a young man who got bitten by a juvenile Russell's viper. Now he got swelling of the foot and a bad ankle because he got swollen the ankle. Didn't die. His blood pressure and everything remained normal. He had one other symptom, a 2-hour erection.
Wow.
He had an erection for 2 hours.
Well, that's funny because, I mean, we're talking about Russell the love muscle.
I know.
And it's the Russell viper.
The Russell viper. So we've got to save this snake from becoming extinct.
Absolutely. Is it endangered?
I hope not.
Oh.
So this 16-year-old boy was bitten by one of these snakes, and he had, he went to hospital, and he had swelling where it was bitten and swelling down there
areas. Wow.
For 2 hours.
Wow.
And then they administered the antivenom, and the symptoms subsided, but only till they gave him the antivenom. So this was, if you want to read the study on this, and I'm sure you don't.
But it's fascinating. So then,
oh yeah, I mean, Actually, it was 3 hours later they administered the antivenom. So he was for 3 hours.
Where is a Russell snake from?
Well, India it's in, and a few other places.
Well, no, they've got one of the largest populations in the world. So, I mean, maybe
1.3 million people.
Billion.
Oh, billion.
1.3 to 1.8 billion.
Amazing, isn't it? So this Russell viper is an interesting snake that we...
Is it deadly?
No. He went to hospital and he was fine, except for his swollen ankle and his swollen appendage.
Wow.
Can I say that?
He had two swollen appendages.
Two swollen appendages, absolutely.
That's fascinating.
And one of them lasted for 3 hours, the swelling, and then went down. So this is called priapism, which is the medical term for that, following a juvenile Russell viper bite, an unusual case report. So if you want to look at that one up, that's interesting.
That's so strange. But have they isolated the compound? Because that could be the next Viagra, really.
I know.
I mean, it's a bit extreme. I mean, if you have to go get bitten by a snake,
Yep. It's quite funny because, he was quite healthy. I mean, he had normal blood pressure, normal heart rates and all this sort of stuff, except for the swellings in the two areas.